Good evening, and welcome to ETS News 29. I'm Aditi Venkateshwaran.
And I'm Emma Kiefer. Thank you for joining us for our first news show of the school year.
The recent turf dedication that was held at the high school on September 14th aimed to bring attention to the members of the community who helped with the process of getting the turf. This new field has positively impacted athletes as well as the entire Shrewsbury community.
To hear more about this event.
Here at SHS, members of the community have come out today to celebrate the building of the new turf that was built last year. The turf dedication is aimed to bring light to members of the community who have contributed and donated to the turf field for athletes to enjoy. The new David J. Adams Memorial Field at Central One Federal Credit Union Stadium Community Celebration was held on Saturday, September 14th. This celebration included the dedication of the new turf field. The turf field was approved by the school committee in November of 2016. Money was the main challenge for the town, but a committee was put together called the Campaign for Shrewsbury Athletics to start fundraising. The main reason this dedication was held was to thank these people who played important roles in getting the turf field. The dedication provided food, a special recognition from Dr. Sawyer, and a viewing of the time-lapse video of the turf, along with interviews with key donors, campaign chairmen, and 2 coordinators of development in volunteer activities, coaches, and student athletes. Anthony Tizzano, president of the SHS Booster Association, has more on some of the people who were involved in the committee.
The committee was comprised of selectmen, school, and town officials, as well as the Boosters Club and youth sports and many other volunteers.
Those people, along with committee members, helped to obtain the money for the turf. The total cost of the field, bench covers, poles, and netting for the end zone, resurfacing the D area, which is suited for the high jump and the long jump, the pole vault area, the new fencing, and the new ticket booth was $1.8 million. This money was privately funded. The cost of the track was $285,000. This money was paid for by the town. One of the advantages of the turf field is that it can be used in different weather conditions. This proved to be true on the dedication, as explained by Dr. Sawyer, Shrewsbury's school superintendent.
There was a lot of people were saying this is the proof we would ruin this field today playing on it after this rain, and this is going to be perfect as a result of this wonderful new synthetic turf field.
Bridget Mooney, a soccer player at SHS, explains how the new turf field affects the game.
It makes the game a lot faster, and we're able to play more games at home on a regular schedule, so it makes it more fun.
At the dedication, Dr. Sawyer expressed gratitude to everyone involved with the project, including donors, chairpeople, and the community. Unfortunately, the heavy rains caused for the ceremony to be delayed an hour. The event was still very successful thanks to the planning of the coordinators of development in volunteer activities, Michelle Biscotti and Kathleen Cohan, as well as athletic director Jay Costa. He talks more about who attended and why he felt it was necessary to hold the dedication.
People that attended the dedication, everyone who was involved, whether it was the design of the project or mostly the donors, people that donated large sums of money for the project, are just people that were involved with the fundraising of the actual project. So it was a nice event to have everyone here to celebrate what was truly a community project.
Despite the weather, the day has turned out great for the SHS community. This has been Belle Marcella reporting for ETS News 29. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Belle. This dedication was a nice way to recognize the members of our community that came together to build this sports complex.
The new Beale School is under construction. Let's hear from Dominic for more on how this has affected the Shrewsbury community and what this new school means for the town.
If you were to travel on Route 9 in Shrewsbury at the intersection of Lake Ave, you would notice signs everywhere about construction taking place. The new Beale School is under construction. You heard that right, folks. The construction is happening. With the new school comes many changes.
The old Beale School is located at 1 Maple Ave. The old Beale School is 96 years old. There have been many issues with this building. These issues include space, building deficiencies, and outdated amenities. It was first proposed in the spring of 2015, where the school committee and board of selectmen voted to send in an application to the Massachusetts School Building Authority, describing the space and building needs. Here's Superintendent Dr. Sawyer with the new changes.
The new building will, of course, be modern in many ways. It's a beautiful design. It's a great location because it's at the Glavin Center, overlooking the town soccer fields, overlooking the Worcester skyline. It's really, it's an excellent location. It's actually geographically a good location for the school because a lot of the growth our town's experienced has been south of Route 9. So to have a large school sited south of Route 9 is going to enable us to really have a good distribution of students geographically across the town.
The building will allow access for all kindergartners to attend full-day kindergarten for the first time in Shrewsbury history. In fact, the school will be developed into kindergarten through grade 4. Here's Mr. Collins, the Assistant Superintendent for Financial and Operations, with more details.
When we open up the new Beal School, that will have enough seats for every student to have a full-day kindergarten experience, which we haven't been able to do to date.
Beal School is under construction as we speak. Lake Street, where the school is located on, will be widened to accommodate for incoming buses and parents. To clarify, only parts of the street near the school will be widened. The rest of Lake Street will remain intact. Here's Mr. Collins with more on the topic.
Part of the project cost is to realign Lake Street, a portion of Lake Street, that portion which abuts the school property, the new school property. And so, Lake Street in that area is kind of a typical old New England cow path, if you will, and very windy, and it's a very difficult kind of S-turn right there. So the contractors are working right now. The road is closed right now between September and probably late December, and they're taking a lot of the curve out and straightening it out, and they're also lowering the elevation as well, so that the outcome will be that you'll have better sight lines when you're driving in or out of the school property.
The biggest concern most parents have is how they determine who goes to Beal and who doesn't. The school committee determined they would form a committee addressing redistricting. The committee will consist of Dr. Sawyer, Mr. Collins, and 2 elementary school principals, and 5 parents, 1 from each of the 5 elementary schools. Here's Dr. Sawyer with more details.
In order to determine who goes to Beal, we're going to have to redraw the elementary attendance zone lines. And some students, some families who right now are zoned to one particular school will be rezoned to the new school. Some families might be rezoned from one of the existing schools to another existing school. We have to do that in a way. We'll actually have a consultant we'll work with who will use what they call geographic information systems, or GIS, to be able to look at where population is currently, where predicted future growth of population will be happening. Because once we redraw those lines, we want those populations of those 5 different elementary schools to be as stable as possible over time. The last time we did this when Floral Street School opened about 22 years ago. So we haven't done redistricting in Shrewsbury in a long time, but it will be necessary in order to determine which neighborhoods will go to the new school.
The traffic in that area may increase. However, the new rotary alignment and the management of the stoplights is expected to address this.
The town of Shrewsbury should expect the construction to be completed in the late spring of 2021 and the opening of the school in the fall of 2021. Currently, the plans have seen no major updates other than some minor adjustments. Until then, this is Dominic Andujar reporting for ETS News 29. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Dominic.
Now, for an issue that concerns all of Shrewsbury. EEE is the latest health threat that affects Shrewsbury and surrounding towns. Towns are spraying to kill off infected mosquitoes that carry the possibly fatal disease. Colleen McNamara took a closer look into EEE to find more ways to lower one's risk of getting bitten.
The latest talk on everyone's minds, if you're an athlete, a coach, or anyone in Shrewsbury who plans to go outside after dusk. EEE, or Eastern Equine Encephalitis, is a deadly disease carried by a mosquito vector. Let's take a look at just how serious this disease is and what you can do to stay safe. EEE. Though most Shrewsbury residents are just hearing about the disease now, EEE has actually been around since the 1930s. However, the disease has resurfaced and stronger than ever, having over 28 communities in now critical risk, 37 at high risk, and 126 at moderate risk for the EEE virus in Massachusetts.
The name is Eastern Equine Encephalitis. It was first found in horses, and then later it was noted to be also found in humans, and it's carried by a mosquito vector. So when you get bitten by an infected mosquito, that's when someone would develop EEE.
A third of the people with EEE die from the disease. What's even more concerning is the fact that the death usually occurs 2 to 10 days after onset symptoms. Even if one lives initially, they suffer from progressive mental and physical disabilities. This might be seen as a brain dysfunction, intellectual impairment, personality disorders, seizures, paralysis, and others. Aerial spraying for EEE in the town of Shrewsbury took place on September 17th. The aerial spraying contained a pesticide called Anvil 10+10. Aerial spraying is definitely a step in the right direction, but other precautions must be in place as well.
We would really encourage everyone in the town of Shrewsbury to stay indoors between dusk and dawn. To, if you are going to go outside for a hike in a wooded area, near any type of lakes or swamps, try to avoid those areas. If you do feel like you're going to be in those areas, you want to make sure you use insect repellent, a real proven repellent. Wear long sleeves, long pants, anything you can do to help protect your skin from being bitten. Also, you would want to, if there's any standing water around your yard, any flower pots, any tire rope swings, those types of things can be filled with water. Mosquitoes are attracted to water. You want to make sure those are all empty. Also, for your windows and doors, you want to make sure all the screens are repaired and there's no holes, because mosquitoes will sneak in, and unfortunately they tend to do that. So we would follow all the recommendations of the Department of Public Health.
There is still hope, however. Once the town of Shrewsbury records its first frost, meaning the temperature dips below 30 degrees Fahrenheit and frost on the grass is visible, these regulations will be lifted. Clearly, Eastern equine encephalitis is far more dangerous than a stubborn bug bite. Please take all precautions seriously so Shrewsbury does not have a triple E case of their own. I'm Colleen McNamara, reporting from ETS News 29. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Colleen. It's important to know what precautions we can take to stay safe until the first frost hits.
We've all been there before. Freshman year in a new school environment is hard for everybody. Freshmen can find it nearly impossible to maneuver through the hallways and find their classes. Teachers and upperclassmen may seem intimidating at first, but with the right resource at hand, high school isn't so scary after all. Now we go to Gavin Crouch with more on freshmen.
This 2019-2020 school year began on August 27, 2019, and introduced the freshman class of 2023. Transitioning into high school from middle school can be a difficult adjustment for new freshmen. Many freshmen can experience excitement, nervousness, or fear that school is starting back up again. Students go from a school with 2 grades to a school with 1,900 students. The high school is a new environment with a bell system and classes all over the school. It takes time to settle in. Another new addition to the school are class officers. The class of 2023 officers are President Seamus Callahan, Vice President Nicole Orlick, Treasurer Samit Bogle, and Secretary Brian Kirkon, and Assistant Principal Mr. Nevada. Although it's a challenge for many students during the first week, students are adjusting. Here are some students on the challenges of the first week of high school.
So it was definitely a struggle in the beginning, because like I said, I didn't know where I was going, and just like the amount of work we're given to get done. Because I think the workload's a lot more. But as time's going on, I think I'm getting used to it.
Getting lost, and because it's so big, and finding where all my classes were, and getting good grades, I guess.
There are numerous resources that help the freshmen switch from middle school. These resources include freshman orientation, where freshmen get their schedule, iPads, and a tour around the school. At the start of the school year, they all attend a class meeting. At this meeting, the principal and assistant principal talk about their expectations at the school. Another resource is homeroom, where they meet their MVPs, also known as Mentor Volunteer Program. They help with any questions the new freshmen have or give advice about the next 4 years at SHS. Here's Mr. Nevada with more information.
We have a freshman orientation, so that's the week right before school starts. All students come on in, all freshmen come on in, are helped out by the MVP upperclassmen. They're given a tour of the building, they get their locker assignments at that time, and just sort of familiarize themselves with the building without everybody else around.
This year also introduces the first club fair during homeroom on September 24th and 27th. During the fair, the freshmen as well as any new students coming into the school go to the Commons and get an inside look at the clubs the school has to offer. Here are some students with their opinion on the club fair.
Well, seeing as how the fair is it just shows all of the clubs everywhere, I think it's a pretty good idea, yeah.
I looked at the ping pong club, the chemistry club, the bio club, and so far I've really only gone to the ping pong club. which was pretty fun.
When freshmen enter the high school, there are specific classes they take. This includes honors to A-level Intro to Physics, World Civilization, and English 9A honors, or 9A regular. World Civilization mainly focuses on European history and politics. It also gives an overview to prepare students for other history classes in the coming years. Intro to Physics gives an overview of what physics is like. This allows them to get a taste before deciding if they want to continue physics in their senior year. English for freshmen sets a tone for English throughout their high school years. English for freshmen goes in depth on the parts of speeches, sentences, and phrases. They also explore different types of writing. As with any high school, freshman year can be tough, but with the right resources, this freshman year should go smoothly for class of 2023. This has been Gavin Crouch with ETS News 29. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Gavin. SHS has many resources that freshmen can obtain to make their transition to the high school much smoother.
We go to Caleb Saperner for sports.
And here come your 2019 Shrewsbury Colonials.
Hello, SHS. It is already September, which means another season of fall sports is underway. Tryouts are finished, teams are decided, and players are already hitting the field to perform at their highest level. The varsity football team is led by captains Clint Mills, TJ Morgera, Carl Lund, and Tucker Montague, and also head coach John Aloisi. We talked to Mr. Aloisi to hear what he has to say about the upcoming football season.
Thoughts on the upcoming season?
I'm really excited about this season. I think we had a great off-season lifting starting in February all through the summer. Kids put in a lot of work, and we have a quality senior class in terms of leadership and talent. So we have a lot of excitement around the season.
What's the most important thing to keep in mind while coaching high school football?
I think just that the kids are here to enjoy it. We got to keep them safe. We obviously want to be a really strong team and physical team, but we got to be safe. We got to have fun, and just focus on remind ourselves why we do this is for the kids to enjoy it and try to learn and understand the game and improve their character.
What game will be the toughest this season?
The next one.
What's the difference in leadership style from coaches and captains?
Well, I think coaches, we don't see what's going on in the locker room. We don't see what happens on the weekend. So I think coaches really address what happens in practices and lifting sessions, whereas I think players have the ability to see what's going on. They have to be leaders on and off the field, really, in policing the team. So there's a lot of similarities, but yeah, there are quite a few differences as well.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Running back TJ Morgera stepped in at QB Week 1 following an injury to Clint Mills and led the team to a 46-29 victory over Tantascwa Regional High School. The team racked up 6 touchdowns, which was more than enough to secure the victory. The next game is on October 5th at Algonquin High School. Girls Volleyball. The girls volleyball team is captained by Colleen Cohane, Marley Newick, and Michaela O'Connor. The girls are off to a good start with a record of 6-3, defeating Medway, Shepherd Hill, Groton Dunstable, Marlborough, Leominster, and Neshoba. The next game is against Neshoba tomorrow, October 1st. Girls field hockey. Captains Izzy Scipolini, Lauren LeMay, and Ashleen Lenti have led the field hockey team to 3 wins along with 2 losses and 4 ties. Recently, the girls tied #1 team in the league, Algonquin, who were undefeated at the time. Great job, girls. Catch them in action October 2nd against Leominster. The girls crew team is captained by Natalie Sueck and Caitlin Urbanick. The first race is taking place on Sunday, October 6th in Hartford, Connecticut, also known as Head of the Riverfront Regatta. Boys crew is led by Gavin Crouch and Will Yankee. Their first race is also Sunday, October 6th in Hartford, Connecticut. Congratulations to both teams for qualifying for the Head of the Charles on Sunday, October 20th. Up next is girls soccer. Abigail Clifford, Megan Biss, and Erin Bodick captained the girls soccer team this year along with Coach Carpentier. Their current record is 0-6-2 as they lost their game against Leicester by a score of 4-0. The girls' next game is tomorrow, October 1st against Marlborough. Make sure to come out and support the team. Boys soccer. Charlie Yang, Colby Meyer, Evan Marr, and Drew Robertson lead the boys soccer team along with Coach Wheeler. Their current record is 0-4-3 as they lost a close game against Shepherd Hill with the score of 4-3. The boys' next game is tomorrow, October 1st against Marlborough as well. Best of luck to both teams. Golf. Captains Sufana Norwes, Matt Rosie, Mike Denoya, and Coach Jack Dale are leading the golf team this year. They won their last game against Westboro, 203-204, which holds their current record of 1-0. Their next match is tomorrow, October 1st against Westboro. Boys cross country. The boys cross country team captains are Sean McQuaid, Jason Taylor, and Andrew Pitney, along with Coach Jim Smith. The team standings are currently 2-1, and their next meet is Tuesday, October 1st at Shrewsbury High School. Girls cross country. The girls cross country team is led by captains Karina Muller, Oliver Scocci, and Maine Ahern, and coached by Lisa Danielson. Their next meet is tomorrow, Tuesday, October 1st again at Shrewsbury High School against Algonquin. Cheerleading. The cheer team is led by captains Celise McKenzie, Jordan Waird, and Brooke Hansen, coached by Matt Halridge and Emily Chaves. Come watch them cheer on our football team this Saturday, 1 p.m. at Algonquin High School. And that's all for this month's sports edition. I'm Caleb Supernor. Back to you, Aditi.
Thanks, Caleb.
On the topic of sports, every season athletes are expected to pay a fee in Power School. What many don't know, however, is where and to whom this money goes to. Let's go to Max Evers with an investigative report on where SHS athletes' money is going to.
The school year is starting up again, which means that fall sports are starting up too. This also, of course, means that families have to pay their athletic fees once more. But some are asking the question, where does the money for the athletic fees go? ETS News decided to investigate the matter. Athletic fees are changed from year to year, but it seems that there is a consistent increase over time. Last year, families had to pay $310 per season per athlete, with a family cap of $930 per year. Athletes who qualified for a reduced fee paid around $30. In total, $380,554 was collected. Fees are then pooled and distributed to various teams by the school. ETS News spoke to Mr. Jay Costa, the Shrewsbury High School athletic director, about where families can expect their fees to go.
Yeah, so the athletic fees go into what they call an athletic fee revolving account. Typically what happens is those go towards various budget items such as coaches' salaries, shortfalls in materials needed. I have a certain line items within equipment budget. If I exceed that, I usually pull from our athletic fee budget. And all our officials are actually paid through the athletic fee budget.
Money for Shrewsbury Athletics is brought in from many different sources. The school budget includes an athletic fund. Money generated from athletic fees, gate receipts, and the town budget go into this fund and are managed by the district. This is mainly used to pay for coaching salaries, transportation, and officiating. In total, $881,261 was generated in this account last year. In addition, Shrewsbury Athletics receives money from Athletic Boosters. The Athletic Boosters are a nonprofit organization that raises money through fundraisers such as Gold Cards and Boosters Bowling. However, money raised by the boosters is put into a separate account that is not managed by the district.
Really what happens is part of the school committee's annual budget process, they review the fee structure for all our fee-based programs. They get a recommendation from the superintendent, and then they make a decision. They've taken a strategy to try to have the fee levels increase modestly each year with the cost increases of the program.
The purpose of athletic fees is to make up the difference between estimated town budgets and the money needed to run Shrewsbury Athletics program. As the money needed grows, so do athletic fees. Over the last couple of years, the athletic fees have risen from $290 to $315. Again, this increase is required to meet the increasing needs of Shrewsbury's athletic program, as the town budget and gate receipts can only cover so much of the amount of money needed to run the program.
All of this information, by the way, and all these reports that we provide to the school committee are on the school district's website under the school committee link, as well as the televised school committee meetings where you can see the school committee kind of debating these issues and the reluctance that they have to, again, even have these fees, but it's a reality in our district.
Hopefully this investigation will help families know where their $310 go each season. This has been Max Evers with ETS News 29. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Max. It's good to know where our money goes when paying these athletic fees. The seasonal athletic fee accounts for coaches and official salaries, transportation, and team equipment.
Now for a health and wellness spotlight with Cole Ackerman and Sarah Berry.
Hi everyone, and welcome to ETS News 29's first ever health and wellness segment. I'm Sarah Berry.
And I'm Cole Ackerman. Today's topic, food, more specifically a vegan and vegetarian diet.
Veganism and vegetarianism has been increasingly popular throughout the world. But what do those words even mean? Well, a vegetarian is someone who doesn't eat meat, poultry, or fish, while a vegan doesn't eat anything that comes from an animal and the animal itself.
Basically, what these diets have in common is that they are both animal-free eating.
Why do people choose to go vegan though, Cole?
Well, Sarah, because veganism helps the animals, the earth, and your health. According to the sentient media, over 150 million animals are killed for food around the world every day, just on land. According to the Climate Nexus, animal agriculture is considered one of the most leading causes of global warming. And finally, according to the American Dietetic Association, vegetarians are reported to have lower heart rates, lower cholesterol, lower blood pressure, and lower body mass indexes.
Those are some pretty great benefits. Now, despite many beliefs of vegan food being more expensive, that's not always the case. It really depends on what you're buying. Organic products do tend to be more expensive though.
Although this may be true, make sure to look for sales and coupons for in-season fruits and vegetables, as well as vegan and vegetarian food options.
Keep in mind to add combined proteins to your meals as well.
Complementary proteins are very important to having a complete and healthy meal. An example would be having a peanut butter sandwich on whole grain bread.
Another concern we are here to debunk is about vegans not consuming enough proteins.
Vegans get all the necessary proteins from foods such as beans, tofu, veggies, and whole grains.
It's also important to get plenty of iron with any type of diet you follow, and in this case, try eating dark leafy greens and beans.
Is it safe to feed children a vegetarian diet?
Yes, it is, Cole. Again, it's important to be mindful of variety and getting enough protein.
We got a chance to talk to an SHS student, Megan German, who recently became full vegan. Take a look.
Typical meals are normally just normal meals, just veganified. So I have a lot of mac and cheese, but with soy-based cheese, or just vegetables that are just stirred up and caramelized, things like that. I'm vegan for the animals mostly. I don't like a lot of the things that they're putting into animals and what they're feeding them. It's not good for them, it's not good for us. And then also it's better for the environment for veganism because we're not growing so much corn that we're going to be putting into the animals. So that way we have more vegetables for us and we're not overfeeding and we're not overproducing unnecessary products.
That's great. I think it's really interesting how Megan started off with a vegetarian diet before becoming vegan.
Although there is no healthiest diet, it is important to have a well-balanced diet that fits your individual needs.
Exactly, Cole. It's important to be mindful of balance, moderation, and variety with any diet.
Yes, that is very true. And now we would like to thank SHS health teacher, Ms. Burtnick, for your help with this segment. Thank you for joining us in our first ETS health segment. My name, Cole Ackerman.
And I'm Sarah Berry. For more information, visit vegworcester.com for local restaurants, events, and tips. Now back to Emma.
Thanks, Cole and Sarah.
Shrewsbury High School has unique clubs open for SHS students to join. Erin Kiley took a closer look into 3 specific clubs that SHS has to offer. Let's go to her now.
Here at Shrewsbury High, there are more than 30 club offerings for students in the SHS community. These clubs offer a variety of opportunities for students to explore different interests, personal passions, or celebrate different cultures while allowing students to step out of their comfort zone and make friends. One of the unique clubs here at SHS is Henna Club. Henna is made by paste that comes from powder from the dry leaves of the henna plant. In Henna Club, students draw on their hands and arms. It is similar to a tattoo, but no permanents, no paint, or needles. Henna is temporary and washed away over time, but can be reapplied once it's gone. Here is Nish Patel to talk more about Henna Club.
Well, it's one of the only Indian cultural clubs where it involves art.
especially henna, because that's now that it's trending, it's getting everywhere, which I'm so happy about because it's spreading here now.
One of the popular clubs here at SHS is the Unified Club, run by Miss Wallace. In Unified Club, their Unified Track and Field team received their first banner this year. Unified Track has over 50 students, and they were runner-up for first place in their 2019 season. The team has 4 parts, which are running, long jump, shot put, and javelin. Unified Track has a variety of different people coming together and playing as a team. The Unified team is run by Miss Hall, Mr. Moran, Mr. Gonzalez, and takes place in the spring. Here's Miss Hall to talk more about this topic.
I think that it is important to have this kind of club, and it's important to recognize and recognize all students and build relationships with students, and not just students that you typically hang out with, but people that you maybe don't see as often in the hallways, because Shrewsbury is such a large school.
The Gender Sexuality Alliance Club is here to help people be aware of what's going on in the SHS community. This club helps people feel more safe in the environment and shows people that our community has many trusting individuals willing to comfort you through tough times. This club is here to support LGBTQ+ people and teach other topics that affect their lives. Not many schools have this club, so it is very helpful that the SHS community has it. Here is Morgan Monfredo to talk more about the club she's a part of.
The thing that makes the GSA a little bit more unique than other clubs is that other clubs are generally like their interests and things that kind of connect you as a community. And as this does the exact same thing, but it's mostly based on who you are as a person and how you value others.
As you can see, these clubs are a great way to make new friends and have a better high school experience. These clubs also help people talk about issues that are going on in the world today. Come and join these clubs this year and make many new friends and experiences. This is Erin Kiley with ETS News, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Erin. Those clubs sound very interesting. Shrewsbury High School has welcomed some new rules regarding athletics. Andrew Pitney has more on new sports, rules, and coaches.
With the new school year upon us, so is the start of another athletic school year. With this means welcoming several new coaches into SHS. It also means that for this year's football season, there are several new rule changes taking effect. Every school year, there are a handful of openings within the SHS athletic department for coaching opportunities. There are 34 varsity, 17 junior varsity, 3 freshman, and 3 middle school sports programs in the district. Mr. Jay Costa, the athletic director at the school, is in charge of every single hire made for each team. As is with the teacher hiring process, hiring a coach into this department is long and complex. Mr. Costa explains the hiring process.
Yeah, it's a pretty intense process. So what we do is, depending on the sports, some of our bigger sports, we'll have a committee set up where we'll have myself, we'll have a parent, we'll have a student, usually our captains are involved with the hiring. We'll also have a coach who's currently on staff, a head coach that's on staff.
Not only is Mr. Costa in charge of the hires, he is also on the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association Committee for new rule changes. According to the MIAA, this past offseason, they, quote, approved a proposal to switch all sports to National Federation of State High School Associations rules, starting with the 2019-2020 school year, unquote. There are over 238 comparisons that will be implemented this season between the National Collegiate Athletic Association and the FSHS. The major changes include 12-minute quarters instead of 11, 3 timeouts per half instead of 5, and there are new penalties for blindside blocking and blocking below the waist. We asked Mr. John Aloisi, the head football coach at SHS, and Mr. Costa how he and his staff are doing in preparing for the upcoming season.
There's some pass interference rules. There's some that we do as coaching staff need to communicate to our players, but for the most part, they don't really affect how we coach. So I don't think we've seen it too significant of a change. I think early on, the 4 extra minutes has been noticeable.
I'm prepared for that change and ready for it. But I do like a little bit the NCAA is a little better. However, we are adapting great. Yeah. The coaching staff, the kids have done a really nice job, and we're providing parents at games with the information block of all the new changes.
It was also discovered that there was an addition to the coaching staff for the boys cross-country team at SHS. Dan Wentworth, a former SHS runner who ran at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, is the new addition to Coach Jim Smith's staff. Mr. Wentworth talks about his first experience in coaching, how it is going so far, and what he enjoys about his responsibilities.
I've enjoyed it a ton. So far, it's been really, really rewarding. It's really great to feel like I'm in some way making a difference
with people who go to practice.
As the Colonials gear up for another season, they hope that their new coaching hires will pay off. Coach Aloisi and Mr. Costa are also hoping that the new rules in football run smoothly and do not significantly change the outcome of a game. This is Andrew Pitney reporting from ETS News 29. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Andrew. Good luck to the football team on their upcoming season.
Thrifting has quickly taken over teen culture in recent years. From large chain stores to small vintage stores, let's hear from Casey Wells to hear how this new trend has shaken up teen fashion.
Thrifting has become a very popular trend over the past couple years, especially in teens. The rise of thrifting has seen a change in overall teen fashion and the way of approaching shopping. Thrift shopping is essentially when someone goes to a used or donated clothing store looking for fashionable or vintage items at an affordable price. The stores not only include secondhand clothing, but even carry shoes and fun accessories. Thrifting has seen a rise in popularity in recent years, with teens and young adults looking to change their wardrobe without breaking the bank. Social media has heavily influenced the thrifting culture as large influencers are posting about their thrift finds and inspiration.
Well, what inspired me to start thrifting originally was the fact that a lot of people in my family do, and it's just, I found it as a way to express myself in a different way other than shopping in stores that a lot of other people go to. But I basically got it from my relatives and them. It's definitely been a way for people to find out how to express themselves in different ways. My entire outfit, my sweater, my belt, and my jeans are all thrifted.
The rise of thrifting has also provoked the discussion of the benefits of buying used. Environmental sustainability has been a hot topic, especially among young people over the past years. According to greenandprosperous.com, Americans throw out anywhere from 60 to over 80 pounds of textile waste annually. Buying used clothing helps to eliminate the amount of non-recyclable waste entering our ecosystem, and is obviously appealing to the environmentally conscious adolescents. Along with environmental benefits, the lower price range of thrifting has allowed teens to experiment more with their fashion. This freedom has changed the landscape of teen fashion itself by seeing a rise in more vintage and daring looks.
We've been catering more to a younger audience. It's high school kids and college kids that shop at our store typically, and it's also adults that appreciate the store as well because it's all items that they used to wear back in the day. It's great for the environment because it creates less of a demand for mass-produced items that typically end up in landfills.
Options for thrifting include used/donation stores are Savers, Goodwill, Salvation Army, and pop-up thrift stores such as St. Anne's. For a more high-end thrifting option, you can visit vintage stores like Grime and Crompton Collective that sell sorted vintage items. Overall, thrifting is a great way to save money, help the environment, and change up your style, whether it's at a chain or supporting your local small business. My name is Casey Wells, ETS News 29. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Casey. Thrifting really has become popular in the last few years. What a great way to find unique items while also supporting the planet.
Shrewsbury High School has welcomed new faculty for the 2019 to 2020 school year. To hear about the new SHS staff, let's go to Bella Hannaford for more.
The faculty at SHS is constantly changing from year to year, making it difficult for students to become familiar with all the new staff members. New beginnings can be stressful for teachers that are adjusting to Shrewsbury High. We take a close look into the different departments throughout our school, meeting the new faces of our 2019-2020 school year.
It is not just teacher roles the SHS administration have been hiring, but the Guidance and School Psychology Department have also received some new positions. Located in Guidance is Miss Vega as a new guidance counselor and Miss LeMay found in B202 as an adjustment counselor.
Previously to working here at the high school, I was at Spring Street Elementary School for 9 years. Prior to that, I worked for Grafton Public Schools at the high school, middle school, and several of the elementary schools. And then I worked in Dudley Charlton at Shepherd Hill at the high school there. And then prior to that, I worked for earlier intervention with little kiddos, ages 2 through 5.
Shrewsbury High has welcomed many new faces these past few years, but this school year in particular has had an addition of 14 new faculty alone. The near 2,000 students that walk through these doors can be overwhelming, but many students are responding well to the new department teachers.
I take chemistry with Mr. Stack, who is a new teacher. A lot of my other friends who also have new teachers in different departments say that they really like them, and it's good to see that the high school is hiring new, fun, and exciting teachers.
It seems as if the experience for our new faculty members has been a smooth transition. They have become accustomed to the new work life here at Shrewsbury High, as well as becoming comfortable with the students. We hope that SHS is a good foundation for all their future endeavors.
And that is all for tonight. Thank you for joining us on our first news show of the year. This has been an ETS News production. I'm Aditi Venkateshwaran.
And I'm Emma Kiefer. Have a good night.